Hello my dear students, welcome back to my channel. So in this session I'll be continuing with bacteria. The last session we completed up to the structure of bacteria. So in this video I'll be discussing about nutrition in bacteria in detail. So bacteria show extensive metabolic diversity. Extensive means very large metabolic diversity. This large metabolic diversity or extensive metabolic diversity is because bacteria show different modes of nutrition. It shows different modes of nutrition. By different modes of nutrition, we mean bacteria shows both autotrophic and heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Autotrophic as well as heterotrophic mode of nutrition. So these types we are going to discuss in detail along with the examples. So first we will start with the autotrophic mode of nutrition in bacteria. So what are autotrophic bacteria? So meaning of autotrophic, all of you know it. The autotrophic means they can prepare their own food material. So such bacteria are called autotrophic bacteria, and they are further divided into two different types. So meaning of autotrophic, where they can synthesize their own food. Here the source of carbon for synthesizing carbohydrate or glucose comes from atmospheric carbon dioxide. Source of carbon comes from atmospheric carbon dioxide. Now, they are further divided into two types based on source of energy. So, based on source of energy, they are divided into two types. So, first type are called as photoautotrophs. The second type are called chemoautotrophs. So let us now first see what are photoautotrophs. So here we should consider first what is the source of carbon and source of energy. So we know because it is an autotroph, the source of carbon here, is from atmospheric carbon dioxide. Now let us see what is the source of energy source. So energy source here is light. The word photo indicates it is light. So energy source is from light. So energy source is light and carbon source is from carbon dioxide. That means since energy source is light, these are pigmented bacteria. They are pigmented. That means they contain chlorophyll pigments. And where are they present? These pigmented. Where are these pigments present? Pigments are present in special structures which are called as chromatophores. They are present in special structures called as chromatophores. Earlier in the structure we discussed what are chromatophores. So these chromatophores are present as invaginations of cell membrane and they store chlorophyll pigment. So they have special structures called chromatophores, or these chromatophores are also called as chlorosomes. They are also called as chlorosomes and they help in performing photosynthesis. Now, so that is source of carbon and source of energy. Now, for synthesis of glucose, the bacteria or any other organism, they also require, there is another requirement for synthesis of glucose is source of hydrogen or proton. This is for reduction of carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is reduced to form glucose. So there should be a hydrogen source. Most commonly we know hydrogen source in all higher plants is water. But here water is not the hydrogen source. So what is source of hydrogen? Any sulfur compound. any sulfur compound, especially in case of photoautotrophs, the sulfur compound, like for example hydrogen sulfide. Sulfur compound like hydrogen sulfide, it forms the source of hydrogen. So they require a source of hydrogen and they require a source of energy. So therefore, these are the requirements: source of carbon, source of energy, and source of hydrogen. So these are also called as sulfur bacteria. So now let us see what are all the examples for these photoautotrophs. So photoautotrophs, the examples, I'll give you the examples. These are called as pigmented sulfur bacteria also, because they contain chlorophyll, and so these are called pigmented and sulfur bacteria. Pigmented and sulfur bacteria. So examples, if we take, there are two examples we can take here. So chlorobium, which is called as green sulfur bacteria. Depending on the pigment, it is called as green sulfur bacterium. And the other example is chromatium. Chromatium is called as purple sulfur bacterium. Purple sulfur bacterium. Chlorobium is green sulfur and chromatium is purple sulfur bacterium. That is about photoautotrophs. Now, the second type of autotrophic bacteria, I want to just go through it once again. Photoautotrophs means source of carbon is atmospheric carbon dioxide, source of energy is light, sunlight. They are pigmented, they contain chlorophyll pigments, and these pigments are present in special structures called chromatophores, or they are also called chlorosomes. And they also require a source of hydrogen for reduction of carbon dioxide. So here any sulfur compound, it can form the source of hydrogen, like hydrogen sulfide. So therefore these are called as pigmented sulfur bacteria. Like for example chlorobium, example green sulfur bacteria. Chromatium is also called purple sulfur bacteria. Now let us see the second type. We will see the second type called as chemoautotrophs. Under the autotrophs, there is a second type called as a chemoautotroph. So let us see the second type called as chemoautotrophs. Chemoautotrophs. So here again the source of carbon is from atmospheric carbon dioxide. Source of carbon is from atmospheric carbon dioxide. But source of energy is not the sunlight, but here from oxidation of inorganic compounds. And these inorganic compounds can be either sulfur compounds or non-sulfur compounds also. These inorganic compounds can be either sulfur compounds or non-sulfur compounds. Since the hydrogen source is either sulfur or non-sulfur, here also we find there is no evolution of oxygen in any bacterial photosynthesis. Though photosynthesis takes place here, what is the most important in bacterial photosynthesis is no evolution of oxygen. This is very, very important point with respect to bacterial photosynthesis. Why no evolution of oxygen is no water is required, no water is involved. So here source of energy is oxidation of inorganic compounds. Now let us see what are all the different types and examples of inorganic compounds which can perform, or inorganic compounds involved in different bacteria. So let us go through the different bacteria. So here Once again, I'll repeat. Source of carbon is atmospheric carbon dioxide. Energy is oxidation of inorganic compound. And third source of proton also, as we considered in the previous one. So here it can be sulfur or any non-sulfur compound also. Sulfur or non-sulfur compound. That can be the source of hydrogen for reduction. Now let us go through the different examples of chemoautotrophic bacteria. So first example we will take. First example, nitrifying bacteria. Nitrifying bacteria. Nitrifying bacteria are those which bring about the process of nitrification. They bring about the process of nitrification, which is one of the important stage in nitrogen cycle. So these are involved in process of nitrification. These are called nitrifying bacteria. Like, for example, the bacteria called Nitrosomonas. One bacteria is Nitrosomonas and another one Nitrosococcus. These are the examples of nitrifying bacteria. So what is their function? These are one of the examples. So what is the function of these Nitrosomonas and nitrifying bacteria? Their main function is oxidation of ammonia to nitrite. So their function is oxidation of ammonia to nitrite. This is the function of these two bacteria, Nitrosomonas and Nitrosococcus. So let us see how they bring about the oxidation of ammonia. So we can give this by writing in the form of equation. So suppose this is ammonium ion reacting with oxygen. It will first get converted into nitrite. So it helps in nitrite, formation of nitrite, plus 2 molecules of water plus energy. So this conversion, ammonia to nitrite, that is brought about by these two bacteria. So this is one example of nitrifying bacteria. The next stage, what happens? In next stage we find, another two examples. So what do? Another two bacteria. They convert nitrite to ammonia. They convert nitrite finally to nitrates. Not ammonia. Ammonia is first converted into nitrite and then nitrite is converted into nitrate. So in the second stage, let us take the examples, two examples like nitrocystis and nitrobacter. Nitrocystis and nitrobacter, these are involved in conversion of nitrites to nitrates. So let us understand this with the help of an equation. So here oxidation of nitrite to nitrate will take place. So here 2 molecules of nitrite. Again this requires 1 molecule of oxygen finally to form nitrate. Plus energy is required. Energy is liberated. So in these two reactions we find all together we have 3 molecules of oxygen, 2 here and 1 here. First stage 2 and second stage 1. 2 molecules, 2 plus 1, 3 molecules of oxygen are required for conversion of 1 molecule of ammonia into 2 nitrates. So this as a whole equation also you can get a question. And here 2 molecules of water are liberated. Altogether 2 molecules of water. And energy is liberated. Since energy is liberated, we call this reaction as, we call it as exergonic process. Exergonic. In chemistry, chemical terms, we call it as exothermic condition. So same thing here, we call exergonic process because there is a liberation of energy. This is an example of nitrifying bacteria. Another example in chemoautotrophs. Chemoautotrophs are sulfur bacteria. These are called as sulfur bacteria. So here sulfur compounds are used. So these are called as sulfur bacteria. So in sulfur bacteria we find one example like where hydrogen sulfide is used. Like for example, in case of the example I'll give you, this is Beggiatova. Beggiatova, this is the for hydrogen sulfide. It is called as a colorless sulfur bacterium. That means it is not pigmented. All these are not pigmented because they cannot use sunlight. So these are all not pigmented and they don't use any sunlight. So these are called as non-pigmented bacteria or colorless. So these are colorless sulfur bacteria. They are colorless sulfur bacteria. So here what happens? So hydrogen sulfide is used. So in the equation, if we take hydrogen sulfide, let us write hydrogen sulfide when it gets oxidized. So 2 molecules of hydrogen sulfide plus oxygen, it will form 2 sulfur plus 2 water plus energy. So what do we find here? Sulfur is liberated. Water is liberated. Sulfur as a gas is liberated. But there is no liberation of any oxygen. So these are called as sulfur bacteria. Sulfur bacteria, like for example, Beggiatova. Another sulfur bacterium. Example. So this is one example we discussed is that of Beggiatova. So we will discuss another sulfur bacterium. Another example, that is Thiobacillus thiooxidans. Another example, Thiobacillus thiooxidans. Thiobacillus thiooxidans. So here we find it oxidizes sulfur to sulfate. There is a oxidation of sulfur to sulfate. Let us see what is the reaction here. So here 2 sulfur are involved in presence of water plus oxygen, 3 oxygen molecules. The bacterium is Thiobacillus thiooxidans. It produces H2SO4, hydrogen sulfate plus energy. So this is also an exergonic process. It is also an exergonic process. Now the next example is called iron bacteria. The next category is called as, third category, it is called as iron bacteria. That means here iron compounds are used for oxidation. Like for example of this iron bacteria are Ferrobacillus, ferro related to iron, and ferrooxidans. That means they are bringing about oxidation of any iron compounds. That's why they are called Ferrobacillus ferrocompound. Oxidation of iron means it should be from ferrous to Fe2 plus to Fe3 plus. So ferrous to ferric. Now let us see what is any equation related to this. Let us go through what is the equation. So here we can take 4 molecules of ferrous compound plus 6 water molecules plus oxygen. That means it is getting oxidized to form 4 molecules of FeOH thrice hydroxide, ferric hydroxide, plus 4 molecules of carbon dioxide, and energy. So these are all energy liberating process. Energy is liberated. So this is the example of iron bacteria, which is a chemoautotroph. Last example of chemoautotroph is Methanomonas. Last example is Methanomonas or Methanococcus also. So Methanomonas, Methanococcus, these are all act on methane. So fourth example, act on methane. So here oxidation of methane takes place into carbon dioxide. So what is the function of this bacterium? Oxidation of methane. Methane is oxidized to carbon dioxide with liberation of energy. So let us see what is the equation here. So equation with methane. So methane plus the oxidation process. So methane plus oxygen, that is 2 molecules of oxygen. It releases carbon dioxide and water, that is 2 molecules of water, plus energy. So this is another example of chemoautotroph. So all these are examples of chemoautotroph. So we have discussed about 4 different examples of chemoautotrophs. Now next, these are 2 types of autotrophs we discussed. So next we will discuss about what are heterotrophic bacteria. So let us discuss about what are the heterotrophic bacteria. Heterotrophic bacteria. So bacteria which cannot prepare their own food, they are called as heterotrophic bacteria. And these are most abundant bacteria. They are most abundant bacteria, and mostly these are decomposers. Mostly decomposers means they are saprophytes. Mostly decomposers. That means mostly these are saprophytes. Now here in heterotrophic bacteria, the carbon source and energy source both are from external. So both carbon source is from, since it is heterotroph, carbon source is from the outside. Outside means it is from organic compound. So why they are called heterotrophs here? The carbon source is from organic compounds. Not from atmosphere but from organic compounds. Then they are called as heterotrophs. So now based on the source of energy. So based on source of energy, now they are divided into different types. So based on source of energy, how they are divided, let us see. So based on source of energy, again they are divided into photoheterotrophs and chemoheterotrophs. So they divided based on source of energy. They are divided into 2 types. So first type is called as a photoheterotroph. The other one is called as a chemoheterotroph. So now first let us see what is a photoheterotroph. So already we have seen the carbon source is from any external organic compound. That's why they are called heterotrophs. So here, so source of energy, since it is photo, that means source of energy is from sunlight. So therefore, since sunlight is the source of energy, these are pigmented bacteria. They have chlorophyll pigment. Here source of carbon is from any external organic compound. Source of energy is light, so these are pigmented compound, and these are generally non-sulfur. That means for hydrogen source they do not use any sulfur compound, any other compound other than sulfur, but not water. So here source of protons for reduction is non-sulfur compound other than sulfur, but not water. They do not use water. So these are called as non-sulfur but pigmented. So what is how you have to describe these? They are pigmented but they are non-sulfur. Chemosynthetic can be sulfur or non-sulfur, but they are non-pigmented. So this, by using pigment and sulfur, we can categorize all. So in the end, I am going to write about these. So source of proton is from non-sulfur, but it is not from water. Now let us see what are the examples of photoheterotrophs. So photoheterotrophs, we can take the examples: rhodospirillum, rhodomicrobium, which is called purple non-sulfur bacteria. These are called as a purple and non-sulfur bacteria. Purple non-sulfur bacteria. So that they are called as a photoheterotrophs. Now, next we will see the second category of heterotrophs. They are called chemoheterotrophs. They are called as chemoheterotrophs. So let us write all the source of carbon or other sources. So first, if we take source of carbon, it is from organic compounds because it is not from the atmosphere. And the next is source of energy here. Source of energy. Source of energy is also from organic compound here. It is not from the light. So this is also from organic compound. Now we have source of hydrogen for reduction. Source of hydrogen for reduction. So source of hydrogen for reduction also is from organic compound. It is not from any other sulfur or non-sulfur compound. So there is no sulfur compound here. So these are non-sulfur bacteria. So they are non-pigmented and non-sulfur bacteria. So here both carbon and energy source both are from organic source only. And majority of bacteria belong to this group. Majority of bacteria belong to this group. They belong to this group. Majority of bacteria, they belong to this group. So once again, if we take chemoheterotrophs are those where source of carbon, source of energy, source of proton, everything is from organic compound, external organic compound, that is from any other organism. And majority of bacteria belong to this. Majority are heterotrophs, but out of heterotrophs again majority belong to only chemoheterotrophs. And these chemoheterotrophs, they are further divided into 3 different types based on their carbon source, and they are further divided into 3 different types and based on their mode of living also. So let us say take what are the 3 different types of, let us take the 3 types of chemoheterotrophs. 3 types of chemoheterotrophs. 3 types of chemoheterotrophs. heterotrophs. So first type is called as saprophytes. Saprophytes. Saprophytes are those which feed on dead and decay matter. They feed on dead organic matter. They feed on dead organic matter. They are called as saprophytes. Like example, we can take any example of Bacillus species. Bacillus species. So these are also called, and majority belong to this. So these are also called as scavengers of nature. They are also called scavengers of nature. And majority generally are saprophytes. Now the second type are parasites. Parasites are disease causing organisms. They completely depend on the host and they are disease causing. They live inside or outside the host. There can be different types of disease causing parasites, disease causing organisms. Like one example is Salmonella. Salmonella in humans, it causes typhoid. Salmonella in humans, it causes typhoid. Similarly, there are many other also, like Vibrio cholerae, it causes cholera in humans. One example of plant parasite we can give Xanthomonas. Xanthomonas causes disease in rice. It causes disease in rice. So there are different parasites. Similarly, there are many animal parasites which live inside or outside the host. So that is the second category. Now the third category, third type are called as symbionts. Symbionts are those which live for mutual benefit. Mutually, both two organisms, they are beneficial to each other. So such association is called as a symbiotic association. Like for example, we very commonly find, and very well common example all of you know, is Rhizobium. Rhizobium shows symbiotic association with, what is its symbiotic association? With the roots of higher plants. Roots of higher plants, mainly roots of leguminous plants. So in legumes it forms the root nodules. So it associates with the legume plants. So these are the Rhizobium is symbiotic bacteria, help in nitrogen fixation. Its main function, main purpose of association is it is helpful in nitrogen fixation. There are many other bacteria which are involved in nitrogen fixation. All may not be symbiotic in nature. E. coli is another example in humans. E. coli is another example in humans which is symbiotic, lives in the human intestine. So this is also a symbiotic relationship. It gets the food and shelter, and instead it provides the flora, or it provides an enzyme activity. It improves the enzyme activity. So this is another symbiotic association. So these are the three types of chemoheterotrophs. So with this we conclude the mode of nutrition in bacteria. So thank you very much, children. I hope you have followed very well. So if you have not followed, also you can keep watching the videos. You can play back and keep watching the videos. And please subscribe to my channel so that you are getting the notifications first whenever I prepare the video, whenever I upload the video. So thank you very much, children. Have a good day.